Let's get it. Let's talk about Slipknot. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to a brand new installment, brand new episode of the McComb Metalcore podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this fine morning. Because, well, it's night right now, but by the time this video publishes, it will be the morning at 10 a.m. on Friday morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a new episode. Thank you for joining me. I'm very excited for this episode, and also at the same time not, because I'm not really too sure what I'm thinking right now. There's a lot going on. It's weird. And there's always some intro music in which I play before my episodes, and it's always strategically placed. And by strategically placed, I mean I pick it about 12 seconds before I hit a record. So if you guys couldn't tell, we're listening to Narrow Forte. So we're probably going to talk about some Slipknot today, because Slipknot has been in the news like crazy lately. And in my opinion, it's things that are strange and might not be for the best. And it kind of worries me. And so we're going to talk about it. So let's just first address the elephant in the room. So Pinhead, Craig Jones, after 27 years or something insane like that, is no longer a part of Slipknot. And it kind of just happened. And nobody knew anything, because Slipknot announced it. And I was reading the comments because I was like, what? I was like, what just happened? And there was a kid, and he was like, dude, I'm hanging out. I'm on the barricade, and I'm waiting for Slipknot to come out in 5 minutes. What is this? And if you're that kid and you're watching this, I was just as confused as you were, and I wasn't on the barricade. So shout out to that kid, man. I hope he still had a great time on the barricade at Slipknot, because I did it once, barricade at Slipknot, and it was a time. It was definitely a time to be alive. Probably one of the more fun moments I've ever had, just being that close to Slipknot, because I was on the, stage right, but I was on the left side, right over by Jim Root, and it was just really interesting to see all of them up that close, all in their masks, in all their glory. You know, Slipknot is metal. There's nobody who does it like Slipknot, and there'll never be another Slipknot, no matter what happens with Slipknot, with Corey Taylor, his kid, Sean, and his kid. There will only ever be one Slipknot. Only ever will be. And that gets me to another point, because there's only 5 people left from the original 9? Or is it 4 or 5? Yeah, there's 5. And it's getting to a point where it's like, is this really Slipknot anymore? Because you had Joey Jordison, who I don't think that there's many people who can disagree with me on the fact that he's probably one of, if not the greatest metal drummers of all time. And don't get me wrong, Jay Weinberg, fantastic. A close second. He is very, 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 very good. And his new mask is super cool, in case you're wondering. But that's tough. And then Paul, obviously, a founding member. Yeah. And Craig's gone, and that's a little strange, because, he's always out doing his little turntables, and so he was never the star of the band, but he sampled all of the old stuff, man, all the originals. He sampled Wait and Bleed, he sampled Surfacing, all that, all the bangers, and I don't think there's another person who can do it like Craig. So shout out to Craig, man, because we're definitely going to miss you, and we'll miss you, Pinhead. And it's kind of sad, because I'm looking at it right now, and on their Essentials playlist, you can't even see him, which is honestly kind of sad. Very, very, very sad. Yeah, so Slipknot's getting to a point where we don't even know if it's Slipknot anymore, and it's really strange. Oh, and plus, what's his name? And Chris Fenn's gone, the nose guy. Forgot about that one. Jeez. Yeah, so there's four founding members of Slipknot who are no longer in Slipknot. It is a little bit more than half, because 9 does not divide evenly in between 2. There is a little more than half of Slipknot left. And don't get me wrong, all these positions are filled. Not Joey Jordison. Jay Weinberg, fantastic. V-Man, fantastic. Tortilla Man, fantastic. And they have a new guy. Does anybody know who it is? Because I sure don't. He looks creepy. He looks cool. He looks like an actual Slipknot guy. He looks perfect for the role. I don't know who he is. I don't really know if there's anybody who knows who he is, except for the other 8 in Slipknot. He looks cool. I hope that he can do what Craig did, because it's like I said, if you're in Slipknot, you are Slipknot. You know? There's nobody in the world who can do it as good as the original 9. And don't get me wrong, just like I said, all the people who they brought in are fantastic. Jay Weinberg is phenomenal. He's one of my favorite drummers ever. But he's not Joey Jordison. And that's just and that's the truth. That's the truth. Paul, awesome. V-Man, awesome. Because they're bringing in all these good dudes who are good at what they do. But it's just the original 9, man, and being that 9. And for Craig to leave and part ways right before a show after 27 years, it's a little strange. And it gets me kind of wondering where Slipknot's going. And there's been a lot of people who've been wondering that ever since they dropped their new album, The End So Far. Now, it's definitely Slipknot's worst album. I don't think there's a soul in this world who can disagree on that. I think it's definitely their worst album by far. But they had some good songs. I like Chapeltown Rag's really good. Dying Song is really good. And my personal favorite, Yen, is on not favorite Slipknot song, don't get me wrong. My favorite song on the album is Yen. Sorry. And Hive Mind's pretty good. But at the same time, they had songs like Finale and Adderall that they're just not Slipknot songs. Are they good songs in their own ways? Yeah. But if you're in the mood and you type Slipknot in on your Apple Music or Spotify, your Pandora, wherever you listen to music, that's not what you want to hear. That's not what you want to hear. You want to hear Psychosocial. You want to hear Unsainted. You want to hear Devil and I. You want to hear Duality. You want to hear Wait and Bleed. All the classics. All the songs that is Slipknot. And they started putting out tracks that isn't really Slipknot, which in my opinion is a little strange. I'm not sure where they're going. I'm really not. I saw them. It feels. What was it now? 2 weeks ago? I saw them 2 weeks ago, and it's the third time I've seen them, and they're just as good live. They're absolutely phenomenal. There's nobody who does a front there's nobody who does a front man like Corey Taylor does, and the things that he does, geez, for an hour and a half, hour 45, however long they played, are absolutely insane. For him to go on tour and do that, and for all 9 of them to be perfectly in sync every single time, it's unreal. It's unreal, and there's nothing else you can say about it, because there's 9 people in this band, and I think to this day it's one of the most impressive things in the world to see this band be as big as they are. They're a 9-member group, and they are in sync every single time. If you've never been to a Slipknot show, then I would do anything in my power to try and go to one, because I'm not sure how many are left, and we're getting to that point where it's getting kind of sad. And I called this video because, I kind of wanted to do just a Slipknot video in general about their new guy and Craig leaving and all that. And then they dropped an EP at midnight, and Slipknot drops new music. You're like, oh my God, woo, woo, yeah, yeehaw, if that's what you say. Let's go. And I listened to it, and I looked at it, and there are no words, and it is just Adderall. It's the first track on their new album, The End So Far, and don't get me wrong, it's a catchy song, but it's not a Slipknot song. It's not even a Stone Sour song. It's a Corey Taylor solo gig kind of song with some real Slipknot sounds in the background. It's not a Slipknot song. And so it wasn't a fan favorite. It wasn't a fan favorite to begin with, which is why I think it's weird that they took an EP and they put a whole EP together around the one song that it was the one song that people were like, I don't like this song. And I'm a firm believer in the fact that I don't think Slipknot has a bad song. And once again, I don't think it's a bad song. It's not a Slipknot song. And if I'm listening to Slipknot and that comes on, I'm hitting skip, because I want to hear the classics and I want to hear the stuff that is what Slipknot is. And so Slipknot put out an entire new EP called Adderall, and it's literally just sounds, which I think is cool, and it's all based around Adderall. And don't get me wrong, it's Slipknot. They have cool sounds. Stuff is mixed cool. They don't do things like normal bands do at all. So on this one, they have Death March, which it's creepy. I mean, it's kind of cool. And it's just an intro and a rough demo of the song, which once again, why? You could have picked any song and based an EP around it. Pick Psychosocial, something that people can get down with. Like a rough demo of Psychosocial? That'd be sick. And then after that, you get, it's what, 24 seconds? Like, it's cool sounding. It's like a filler inner, I guess. But I'm not listening to this. Strange. And then it goes into Adderall, but an instrumental version. Cool sounding. Why? And then another song with no words. It's just coolly mixed sounds. And the thing about it is it's all based off of Adderall. And like if you listen to the original song is on the end so far, and you listen to this, you can definitely hear where it's like outro and part of the music. And like that's what Slipknot is. Like it's more of an experience than an actual band in itself sometimes. And I think that's what they're trying to do. But like why are you putting this out? It's a little strange. And I personally don't get it. And if you were going to do it with the song that people love, so people will listen to it. It's like I said, like an instrumental version of Psychosocial, that'd be sick. Or a rough demo of Psychosocial, that'd be sick. Or just any song, really, just not Adderall. Huh? And Slipknot's been scaring me a lot recently, too. I remember it was like a week before my birthday, and they dropped Bone Church just out of nowhere. It was like a Monday morning or something. It was something insane. They dropped Bone Church, like, oh my God, like, there's new Slipknot. Like, stop what you're doing. There's new Slipknot. And it sounded like I was in a circus. And it's definitely something that Clown did and just wanted to experience with, which, don't get me wrong, I appreciate it. Just, in my opinion, it just didn't work. I'm not too sure what Slipknot's doing right now. It's really strange. I'm really curious to see who the new member is and how he can fit in. I know that they just played, it's somewhere in Europe. I honestly have no idea. I have no idea what country it is, but it's somewhere in Europe, and I would be interested to see how their new show went with their new member, because I saw that they played a lot of random songs just out of nowhere that they haven't played in forever. I'm trying to think of the names, but I forget. And no, I'm not sure. And there's a lot of talk about like, okay, like if Corey and Sean are done, like the Nil Kids will step in, but Slipknot is Slipknot because of who they were and the impact they had on America and the world. Not even America. That's an understatement. On the world. On the world. And at this point, I think it's getting to a point where they're almost tarnishing their own legacy by dropping albums like The End So Far, which, don't get me wrong, has a couple good songs, but it's just not, it doesn't feel like a Slipknot record. It's definitely their worst album by far. I don't think there's a soul on this earth that can disagree with me. And if there are, I would love to hear your opinion. I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to hear your argument because if you look at self-titled, Iowa, Volume 3, great chapter, We Are Not Your Kind, All Hope Is Gone, trying to think of the other one, and I'm drawing a blank like an idiot, but that's okay. And if you look at all those are absolutely phenomenal, and that's who you are. And then you just go keep dropping stuff that's just not who you are. And it gets a little weird, in my humble opinion. And especially with the name of the new album, The End So Far, I think we have maybe one more Slipknot record in us. And I don't know how good it will be. I don't know if it's going to have some throwbacks or if it's going to... Because if this is what they want to do, then good for them. Good for them. It ain't my thing, and I think that it's probably not a lot of Slipknot fans' things in general. Because once again, if you're listening to Slipknot, you're trying to find the banger that you can break your neck to and throw elbows to. That's exactly what you're doing. And they're not that young. They're not as young as they were when they dropped Iowa. They're old now. If that's the path they're going down, then good for them. And there will never be a day where I complain about a new Slipknot record, new Slipknot EP, new Slipknot song. But it's getting to the point I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And it's getting a little weird. So, yeah, it's a strange time to be a Slipknot fan, definitely. But that's all I've got for you guys today. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for listening. If you didn't, you have no idea I'm even saying this, so yay, I guess. I don't know. Cool. But that's all we got for today. Hoping to drop some new content for you guys soon. I'm definitely going to do an Avenged Sevenfold song ranking, a video coming up soon. Maybe this weekend, probably next week. We'll see. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I love talking to you guys, and I love seeing you guys interact. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Macomb Metalcore. Simple as that. And yeah, without further ado, Macomb Metalcore out.